Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. In the last couple of minutes, the conversation has been on latest development on the global and domestic economic scene and how it affects the economy, with particular emphasis on what the Ministry of Finance, of course, the Minister of Finance, Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has said Nigeria is not broke, and so there's no need to panic. But we're looking at some areas where the Ministry of Finance, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, should begin to look at in terms of providing the necessary buffers that are needed to keep the economy afloat. I've been having a conversation with an economist, Dr. Boniface Chizia. Dr. Chizia is still here with me in the studio. Thank you so much for sticking around.
Thank you, Harriet.
Now, before we went on that short break to catch our breath, you talked about some areas that the Ministry of Finance, including the Central Bank of Nigeria, should begin to look at in terms of using it as buffers to shore up the economy. And one area that I know that some analysts have really talked about is the fuel subsidy. They feel that it should be reduced or even totally removed. Could this in any way be one of the ways that the ministry should consider as getting us out of the situation where we found ourselves at the moment?
You know, some point in time I shared the membership of Nigerian Economic Summit Group. And, you know, every year we go to Abuja and we have meetings and we discuss. And one of the things that had often come out of this meeting is the fact that subsidy is not something that this country should drive. And because we believe that subsidy is a misallocation of resources. And that you don't, if you look at the subsidy, if you look at it holistically, now who are those being subsidized? Who are those, what percentage of this population drive cars? And so what you're doing is that you're taking this subsidy that you're spending, and put it in context. The subsidy, we spend subsidy 1 trillion naira in one fiscal year to subsidize petroleum products. Now, you know what that will do in this economy? 1 trillion naira. What is the capital budget of this country? And you're spending so much to drive subsidy. And so I want to start by saying that subsidy, look at agriculture. One of the things additional did was remove subsidy and make sure that the people who want this fertilizer, they get it direct.
Yeah, but then it was gradual.
Yeah, but then you see, yeah, okay. But then the gradual, we remove subsidy. How many times we remove subsidy? I think that is coming to a stage whereby we have to take advantage. One of the things I think that we need to do in this country is to say to ourselves, you know, that this subsidy we are giving oil, we need to, for instance, you know, deregulate the oil business. This is very important. You know, for instance, you give people licenses to establish refineries. They refuse to establish refineries because they can't see their way ahead. So if I establish a refinery, I go and get them so capital intensive, I put so much money in that refinery, and then I produce, and you're not going to dictate to me how much I'm going to sell the product. And I don't, nobody, no financer. Nobody will have so much money, and no finance, nobody will discredit appraisal based on such scenario and allow you to have some money. And that's why you find that the refinery situation, the capacity we have, we're still handicapped. You know, so these are some of the issues. So subsidy, this at the least opportunity, it can't happen before the elections, obviously, for obvious reasons. I mean, if you take the experience we had the last time, we tried to remove the subsidy, this country was almost locked down. We never had that before. And so I think that realistically, we wouldn't expect to happen. I expect that past the election, this price is dropping. We should just do away with subsidy. We should do away with petroleum equalization fund. Yes, I mean, if the thing is produced in Port Harcourt and then I have to transport it and sell in Sokoto, but Sokoto should be ready to pay the margin. You know, see, by the time you begin to feather bed and begin to cushion and begin to do all these things, you have issues. We need to unleash the market forces. I mean, I was quite intrigued when Dr. Nana, the deputy governor designate, was talking about what happened in the exchange rate using devaluation and so on. It's market forces. You know, the central bank responded to market forces. Yes, okay. What about that? Definitely it was devaluation. You know, if you want to do market forces, you know, the central bank couldn't have a dominant position. If we want to have market, then you go to your market, except it's a monopolistic market. You're going to have many players, many buyers, and so on and so forth. Even this, you have, everybody knows that really what we did was a devaluation. But I think that we need to begin to move, whereby we begin to remove, things, because they don't get to be even the intended beneficiaries. You know, so people hijack them, in the process. And so we take this away and focus. We need to make this environment, make it enabling. 1 trillion naira, Harriet, if you put it on roads, put it on hospitals, put it on power. Look at power, for instance.
But what you're saying now, at least, when you remove the subsidy funds and then you put it in key infrastructure projects, for instance, the road, the rail, and the rest of it. And power.
Yes.
Those are not immediate, things that we're going to be seeing. That's for the medium to long term. In most cases, to a very, very long term. What everybody is trying to look at the moment, and what everybody is really interested in, is the now. The short to medium term. Now, before the elections, we have less than 4 months to the elections, less than 3 months, I beg your pardon, to the elections. And so a lot of, did I say 3 months? 2 months.
February.
Because this is already December. We're less than 2 months away to the elections. And so a lot of things are at play. We already see that there's high dollar rates in circulation. At the black market, for instance, the naira is selling at 184 naira to the dollar. So more and more, we're beginning to see people carrying dollars within the economy. It's almost as if, that's the legal tender these days. And the central bank has had to constantly intervene in the market to try to bring it down. Last week alone, almost $866 million was sold by the regulator to try to bring this down. So we're looking for short to medium term. Removing of the subsidy, yes, is medium to long term. Short to medium term.
But then, Harriet, if you take the infrastructure, let me correct something here. You take the infrastructure. Let's take, say, power supply. If power supply improves tomorrow, the impact will be felt immediately. If power supply improves tomorrow, we are talking of something that happen tomorrow and so on, and people are assured that with power, there's going to be some steady power supply. It's going to be the impact. It's going to be immediate. It's going to be more than what we're getting from GSM. At some point in time, communicating in this environment was something else. You have to go to NITEL, you have to pay some money, you have to wait and so on. Now, everybody has, even my house, even the house has two lines, So I'm saying that there are some things you could do that will unleash immediately. But the point you are making and you are driving at, the point is that the things about this economy, there are no quick fixes. There are not things you just go immediately and say, look, let me open this tap and the thing will run. It's not like that. and that's why I keep on saying the fact that, because as you're saying this, I ask myself, what else could somebody do immediately? Even if you take the central bank and check central bank management of foreign exchange, and say to yourself, what is there anything that central bank could do immediately? I see what they're doing. They're putting money, they're trying to check this almost naira going to free fall and so on. When they're not, that's a challenge. You have the reserves, you're losing the reserves. And then you're pursuing the spread between the official and the interbank rates, and then the exchange rate and so on, because the world is spread, it builds up, the more the temptation to run trip and so on. So it's a big challenge, and that's why to manage an economy, you must be connected, you must be organized, you must be systematic, because there are no quick fixes. The only thing we can do now quickly is we can take a loan. And even taking that loan, for instance, it's going to be a process. Yeah, you can take a loan.
Why instead of taking a loan, why can't the fact that the naira has now been devalued as a surplus? So why can't the government take the surplus from the sale of forex, which is likely to increase, to buffer the economy at this time?
Well, if there's a surplus, and that one goes into our respect. That's what I'm saying that people have said, in the sense that the naira has the values, from 155 to 168. That means that when you now earn your dollars and then you convert it, and more monies would accrue to the Federation account. Well, that one is standing. So there's not much you can do about that. I mean, the monies will be earned, the oil will be earned. Unfortunately, the income from oil is dwindling, it's disappearing, so that the impact is not going to be as much as I would have wanted to be. Okay, so besides the fact that historically this country has never been able to attain its allocated quota because of various issues, issues of vandalism, insecurities, leakages, illegal bunkering, and so on. We've not been able to. We do 2.1 when, for instance, it's supposed to be 2.3, 2.4. So we've had issues, and now we've not even been able to sell, and then sell as much. We're looking for markets, and then the price is dropping. Yeah, but then having said that, so we have a devaluation of about 8.4%. That would mean that to a large extent, then, that the quantum of the naira should also increase by so much. But I said to myself, but that's to some extent illusory. So it increases. But before you know what's happening, there's going to be price increases, working through the system. Now already, workers are beginning to say, look, this thing is happening, but the value and so on. But it's going to leave us, I've heard that. If you organize labor bodies, I'm already saying that. They're all talking to our management and say, hey, wait a minute. And the thing has not even worked through the system. And so I said, look, let's begin to start now. And so what's going to happen is that you find that there's going to be salary increases across board and so on. And of course, once it happens, the person that sells in the market also wants to get their own increase and so on. And then the prices will go up. Yeah, so you're getting the increase. It's not going far enough. It's not being able to buy what it bought before. And so there are issues. And so there aren't any quick fixes, except if there are. I was reading the papers and the long day of Economic and Financial Crime Commission said they went to start chasing tax people, and they discovered that many people were not paying taxes. I'm surprised that has gotten become common knowledge now, and they'll be able to mobilize 3 billion naira within a short space of time. They said something like that. That's why I say that what we are doing with the non-oil sources of revenue, that's what we should have intensified. Some you are in a captive environment where they deduct your taxation at source. So this people in the market, they don't pay any tax. And you have lots of money sitting there. And one of the things we learn from basic economics is that if you don't spend extractive what you get from the ground, things that are supposed to be, you use it for investments. You don't consume it. Because in that case, you're talking of intergenerational equity. Those who are coming behind, what are you leaving for them? We should spend taxation, we should tariffs and so on to run our recurrent expenses.
So in the short to medium term, Nigerians will have to, one of my respondents on the program said, not just to tighten their belts, but to tight, more than tighten, if there's another adjective for tighten.
But just the economy, she knows more than she should know more than we do, and so maybe there are certain things she knows which we don't know. So maybe we'll wait and see what is going to happen. She's assured us. Exactly. But I think that Nigeria should accept her assurance.
So, Dr. Chizia, we're all going to sit and wait and see how all of this pans out. But thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Thank you, Harriet, for having me.
I've been speaking with an economist, Dr. Boniface Chizia, and we've been looking at how some global and domestic pronouncements have actually affected the economy, and it's been quite an enlightening one. He actually mentioned some areas that the Ministry of Finance, I beg your pardon, and the Central Bank of Nigeria should begin to pay closer attention to, especially the one that a lot of analysts seem to be having calling for, which is the removal of the fuel subsidy. It will be a problem at the initial stage, but going forward, it is in the best interest of the economy. But that's the program for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbeni.